Welcome back to my channel, Valuable Rare Coins. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we'll uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're talking about the 1917 S Sweet Penny. And let me tell you, this isn't just any old cent. This coin is a survivor, a storyteller, and for some lucky collectors, a financial windfall waiting to happen. Let's take a step back and picture America in the year 1917. The world was at war. The United States had just entered World War I, and the country was undergoing rapid changes industrially, politically, and socially. Men were going off to battlefields overseas, while factories back home were firing on all cylinders to support the war effort. Amid all this upheaval and transformation, the San Francisco Mint was quietly producing one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1-cent wheat penny bearing the S Mint mark. The coin's design, as always, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front. This iconic image was first introduced in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Above Lincoln's head are the words, "In God We Trust," to his left, "Liberty," and on the right, the date, 1917. Just below the year sits a tiny, easy-to-miss S. That little letter makes all the difference. It stands for the San Francisco Mint, and it transforms this coin from common to collectible. Flip it over, and you'll see the signature wheat ears flanking the bold 1-cent text, hence the name Wheat Penny. The reverse design is simple, but bold and full of character. Below it reads United States of America, and the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. It's a design that captures the spirit of America during a time of challenge and unity. Now, the 1917 S Sweet Penny may not look all that flashy. It's made of bronze, a copper and zinc mix, with no precious metals to speak of. It's small, lightweight, and in most cases, worn down after decades of handling. But this coin is more than meets the eye. What makes it extraordinary is its rarity, its age, and most importantly, its condition. You see, while millions of 1917 wheat pennies were minted across all three U.S. mints, the San Francisco batch was smaller in comparison. And over the years, many of those coins were lost, heavily circulated, or damaged. Today, finding a 1917 S Sweet Penny is a challenge. But finding one in mint condition? That's almost unheard of. Most surviving examples are well-worn, with faded details and scratches from years of use. But once in a while, a coin appears that somehow escaped all of that, a coin that remained untouched, preserved in nearly perfect condition for over 100 years. These are the holy grails of the numismatic world. Even more sought after are those rare specimens with minting errors. We're talking about double dyes, off-center strikes, and other production anomalies that happened in the minting process. These flaws might have been seen as mistakes at the time, but to collectors today, they're gold. Metaphorically speaking, when a coin like this comes up for auction, especially one with pristine details, deep natural toning, and sharp features, it grabs attention fast. Grading agencies like PCGS or NGC examine every aspect of the coin, from surface condition to strike quality. And if it earns one of those top-tier grades like MS 66 or above, it becomes a museum-worthy piece of history. What's truly amazing is that a coin most people would walk past on the street could actually be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house. So now comes the big moment, the question on everyone's mind. What is the most that one of these little copper coins has ever sold for? Well, one breathtakingly well-preserved example of the 1917 S Sweet Penny, graded at the highest professional level and featuring remarkable detail, sold at auction for a stunning $400,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin worth $400,000. It's stories like this that remind us why coin collecting is so much more than a hobby. It's a journey through time. It's the thrill of the hunt. It's discovering that something so ordinary can actually be extraordinary. So, if you have a box of old coins passed down from a grandparent, or maybe a coin jar you've never really paid attention to, go check it. Look closely at those pennies, especially any from the early 1900s. You never know what treasure could be hiding in plain sight. Second rare coin, it's a 1945 wheat penny, and if you think this coin is just another piece of copper in your collection, you may want to think again. The 1945 wheat penny is more than just a simple 1-cent coin. It's a piece of history, a glimpse into the end of World War II, and for some collectors, it can also be a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stick around to the end because the value of this coin will surprise you. Let's take a step back in time. The year is 1945. The world is in the midst of one of the most pivotal moments in history, World War II. In fact, 1945 marks the end of the war, a turning point where the world began to rebuild. On the home front, the United States was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime. Soldiers were coming home, and the country was beginning to experience a period of prosperity. During this time, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins to help with the growing economy. One of the most iconic designs in American coinage was the wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909. On the front of the coin, you'll find the face of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered figures in American history. But it's the reverse of the coin that tells the story of the wheat penny's iconic design. 2 stalks of wheat frame the words 1 cent, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Now, let's talk about the specifics of the 1945 wheat penny. By this time, the design was nearing its end. In just a few years, the U.S. Mint would introduce a new design featuring the Lincoln Memorial, but the 1945 version of the wheat penny was one of the last of its kind. As a result, it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors who appreciate both its historical significance and its iconic design. In terms of mintage, over 1 billion 1945 wheat pennies were produced. So you might think that finding one wouldn't be too difficult. And that's true, most of them are still out there. However, when it comes to rarity and value, it's all about condition. Coins from this era were heavily circulated. They spent years in people's pockets, jangling around in change purses and getting worn down with age. So, finding one in excellent or uncirculated condition is a real find. The value of a 1945 wheat penny largely depends on its condition. If you find a coin that's been through the ringer and shows significant signs of wear, it's not going to be worth much more than a few cents. But if you're lucky enough to stumble upon a 1945 wheat penny in near mint or mint condition, you're holding something that could be worth far more. For collectors, coins in pristine condition are worth significantly more. That's because the value of a coin is tied to its condition, rarity, and demand. And as more and more coins get lost or damaged over time, the value of those that remain in perfect or near perfect condition increases. If you've got one of these coins, you're sitting on a potential gold mine, but there's more to it than just condition. Some 1945 wheat pennies have unique characteristics or minting errors that can drastically increase their value. For instance, coins with double die errors, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can be worth a fortune. These mistakes are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors, making a coin with an error like this an even more valuable prize. Now, you might be asking, how much could a 1945 wheat penny really be worth? Let's get to the exciting part. If you find a 1945 wheat penny in exceptional condition, or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a price tag that's a lot higher than you expect. In fact, one of the highest-priced 1945 wheat pennies ever sold fetched an astounding $380,000. Yes, you heard that right, $380,000 for a single 1945 wheat penny. That's a life-changing amount for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. How is this possible? It all comes down to rarity and the collector's market. Coins with unique qualities, especially those in outstanding condition or with valuable mint errors, become treasures that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. And with the 1945 wheat penny, a piece of American history, it's not just about the coin itself. It's about the legacy it represents. So, next time you find yourself with a jar of old coins or going through some change, take a moment to check for a 1945 wheat penny. You might just have a rare gem on your hands, waiting to be discovered. Whether it's in great condition or has a rare minting error, this little coin could be more than just pocket change. It could be a valuable collector's item. Third expensive coin, we're diving into the world of rare coins, and we have a special gem to discuss: the 1950 D-wheat penny. Now, most of us probably think of pennies as just 1-cent pieces circulating in our pockets or sitting at the bottom of old coin jars. But the 1950 D-wheat penny is anything but ordinary. It's a historical artifact and a coin that can hold significant value for the right collector. Stick around, because the value of this humble coin will likely surprise you. Let's first set the stage and travel back in time to the year 1950. The United States had just emerged from the chaos of World War II and was entering a period of prosperity and growth. The economy was booming, and people were returning to work, building homes, and raising families in a post-war world. The country was transitioning into the 1950s, a decade that would see cultural and technological revolutions, and of course, the rise of the baby boomer generation. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint continued its important role of producing the currency that was essential to everyday life. The wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was one of the most iconic coins in circulation. On the front of the coin, you'll find the image of Lincoln himself, forever immortalized on U.S. currency. But it's the back of the coin where things get interesting. The reverse side features 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent, which is where the name wheat penny comes from. It's a design that lasted from 1909 to 1958 and is still beloved by collectors today. Now, let's talk about the specifics of the 1950 D-wheat penny. The D on this particular coin indicates that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. At the time, the U.S. Mint produced millions of wheat pennies, including the 1950 D, to keep up with the demand for everyday currency. So, you might be wondering, what makes the 1950 D-wheat penny so special? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. While the mintage of the 1950 D was high, many of these pennies were heavily circulated. Coins spent years in people's pockets, collecting wear and tear with each passing day. The vast majority of 1950 D-wheat pennies you'll come across will show signs of wear, scratches, fading, and other imperfections. But when a coin from this era is found in excellent condition, it becomes something truly valuable. This is where collectors come into play. Numismatists, or coin enthusiasts, are always on the lookout for coins in pristine or near mint condition. This includes coins that show little to no signs of wear, with sharp details and clear features. For the 1950 D-wheat penny, the condition of the coin is what determines whether it's worth just a few cents or something much more substantial. But there's another factor that can make a 1950 D-wheat penny even more valuable: mint errors. Mint errors are mistakes that occur during the coin production process. They can range from minor flaws, like a misaligned die, to more noticeable issues such as double strikes, off-center images, or unusual repunched mint marks. These minting mistakes are rare and make certain coins even more desirable to collectors. If you're lucky enough to find a 1950 D-wheat penny with one of these errors, you could be holding a coin that's worth far more than its face value. As you might imagine, finding a 1950 D-wheat penny in pristine condition or with a minting error is no easy task. Most of these coins have been in circulation for decades and have been subjected to the wear and tear of everyday life. But that's part of what makes the coin market so exciting, because sometimes the rarest coins are the ones that slip through the cracks. Now, let's get to the fun part: the value. How much is a 1950 D-wheat penny worth? If you were to find a 1950 D-wheat penny in perfect or near perfect condition, you could see its value rise significantly. A coin that grades as MS 65, mint state, meaning it's almost perfect, could be worth several $100s. But hold on, what if I told you that the value of the 1950 D-Wheat penny could skyrocket even further if it has a unique mint error? Well, a high-grade, error-free 1950 D-Wheat penny can fetch around several $1,000s, but one with a rare mint error can be worth a small fortune. In fact, one particularly rare 1950 D-Wheat penny, graded in exceptional condition and featuring an unusual mint error, sold for a staggering $360,000. That's right, $360,000 for a single coin. It's hard to believe, right? But it goes to show that in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin isn't always determined by how many were minted or how old it is. Sometimes it's about condition, rarity, and the story behind it. So, the next time you find a 1950 D-Wheat penny in your coin jar, take a moment to look at it closely. Does it have that mint-like shine? Are the details crisp and clear? Or maybe, just maybe, it's got a minting error that could send its value into the stratosphere. You could be holding onto something worth far more than its 1 cent face value. Especially, we're diving into the fascinating world of the wheat penny once again, and this time, we're shining a spotlight on the 1952 D-Wheat penny. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, how could it possibly be worth much? Well, trust me when I say, this little coin could be worth a lot more than you might expect, and we're about to uncover just how much that might be. Let's rewind to the year 1952. The United States was in the middle of the post-World War II era, a time of significant change. The economy was booming, the country was in the midst of the Korean War, and the world was moving away from the devastation of the 1940s. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint continued to produce currency, including the iconic wheat penny, which had been in circulation for over 4 decades. The 1952 D-Wheat penny, minted in Denver, represents an important chapter in the history of American coinage. It features the classic design by Victor David Brenner, showing the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the reverse side showcasing 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent. This simple yet powerful design made the wheat penny one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Now, let's get into the specifics of the 1952 D-Wheat penny. While over 200 million 1952 D-Wheat pennies were minted, the fact that so many of them were produced doesn't necessarily mean they're all easy to find. In fact, most of the coins you come across are worn from years of circulation. Coins like this typically travel through pockets, cash registers, and vending machines, so they accumulate wear and tear. That's why condition plays such an important role when it comes to coin value. For the 1952 D-Wheat penny, the majority of them show signs of heavy circulation. The details on the coin may be faint, and the edges might have some noticeable scratches. However, when a 1952 D-Wheat penny is in excellent or mint condition, it becomes a truly valuable collectible. In fact, coins in top condition, often referred to as uncirculated, are highly sought after by collectors because they represent a snapshot of history that has remained untouched by time. The grading of these coins is vital to determining their value. If you were to find a 1952 D-Wheat penny in near perfect condition, you could be looking at a price tag much higher than face value. Coins graded as MS 65 or higher are considered to be in mint condition, and those are the ones that could fetch hundreds of dollars. But what about those rare, ultra-high-grade coins? The ones with no visible flaws, crisp details, and a beautiful shine? Those coins can be worth significantly more. But what makes the 1952 D-Wheat penny even more intriguing is the potential for errors. Mint errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting because they're unique and one of a kind. When a coin is struck with a misaligned die, or when there are double strikes or other mistakes during the minting process, the result is a coin that's different from all the others. These mint errors are rare and highly valued by collectors, often pushing the price of a coin into the thousands. If you come across a 1952 D-Wheat penny with an error, don't dismiss it. That small mistake could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Whether it's a double die error, a repunched mint mark, or an off-center strike, error coins are always in high demand in the numismatic community. So, what makes the 1952 D-Wheat penny so special in terms of value? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and those exciting mint errors. While the majority of these pennies will only be worth a few cents, if you manage to find a 1952 D-Wheat penny in excellent or uncirculated condition, or if it has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. Now, let's get to the exciting part. How much is a 1952 D-Wheat penny worth? If you happen to find a 1952 D-Wheat penny in exceptional condition or with a rare error, the value can skyrocket. While most of these pennies are worth a few dollars, some have sold for much, much more. The highest-selling 1952 D-Wheat penny, graded in flawless condition and with a rare error, reached a mind-blowing $330,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $330,000 for a single coin. It's incredible to think that a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent could be worth so much today. The key is finding that perfect example or one with a rare minting mistake, which can dramatically increase its value. So, next time you're going through a box of old pennies or sifting through your spare change, make sure to keep an eye out for the 1952 D-Wheat penny. It could be more valuable than you think, and who knows? You might just be holding onto a rare gem worth a small fortune. Last unique coin, we're focusing on a specific gem, the 1953 wheat penny. It might seem like just another penny from the mid-20th century, but trust me, this particular coin has more value than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting into the world of coin collecting, this little piece of history is one you won't want to overlook. Stick with us until the end, where we'll reveal just how much this humble coin could be worth today. To begin, let's transport ourselves back to 1953. The United States was in the midst of the post-war boom. The economy was thriving, families were growing, and the country was experiencing a new wave of prosperity and progress. In fact, the 1950s was a time of technological advancement and cultural shifts. Television was becoming a staple in every household, and rock and roll music was taking the world by storm. Amidst all of this, the U.S. Mint continued its role of producing the nation's currency, including the iconic wheat penny. The wheat penny, which had been minted since 1909, was a symbol of American currency for decades. On the front of the coin, you'll find the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. But it's the reverse side of the coin that's most interesting, featuring 2 stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent. This design remained unchanged for nearly 50 years, from its inception in 1909 until the coin's redesign in 1959. The wheat penny holds a certain charm and significance, representing a time when American coins were simple yet elegant. Now, let's talk about the 1953 wheat penny specifically. In 1953, the U.S. Mint produced over 300 million wheat pennies, but this high mintage doesn't necessarily mean that these coins are easy to come by in excellent condition. The vast majority of 1953 pennies, like most coins from this era, were heavily circulated. After all, this was a coin that was in people's pockets, used in vending machines, and spent on a daily basis. Over time, most of these coins became worn, faded, and damaged from constant use. But that doesn't mean there's no value in them. For a coin like the 1953 wheat penny, the key to its value lies in its condition. You see, the value of a coin increases dramatically based on how well it has been preserved. Coins that have been stored carefully without being subjected to the harsh conditions of circulation are much more valuable than those that have been used over and over. An uncirculated 1953 wheat penny with sharp details, a clean surface, and minimal wear is much more rare than you might think. Collectors often seek out coins that are in pristine condition, and the 1953 wheat penny is no exception. If you were to find a 1953 wheat penny that has been preserved in near perfect or flawless condition, it could be worth significantly more than its 1 cent face value. Coins like these are highly sought after, and those that have been graded as MS65 or higher, meaning they are near perfect, can fetch hundreds of dollars on the open market. But that's not all. There's another factor that can greatly increase the value of the 1953 wheat penny: minting errors. Mint errors are mistakes made during the coin production process, such as double strikes, misaligned dies, or off-center images. These errors are incredibly rare and make a coin much more valuable because they are one-of-a-kind pieces that no other coin will replicate. If you happen to find a 1953 wheat penny with a mint error, you could be holding something truly special. For instance, imagine coming across a 1953 penny with a double die error, where the design appears to be doubled or even misaligned. A coin like this would be highly desirable to collectors, and its value could skyrocket. Mint errors like these can make even a common coin like the 1953 wheat penny worth thousands of dollars, depending on the severity and rarity of the error. Now, let's get to the exciting part: the value. While a regular 1953 wheat penny in circulated condition will likely only be worth a few cents, a high-quality specimen can fetch significantly more. Coins that are graded as uncirculated or mint state can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to a couple of $1,000s, depending on their condition and rarity. But what if I told you that a 1953 wheat penny, in top condition, with a rare minting error, could sell for much more? In fact, a high-grade 1953 wheat penny with a rare minting error has been known to sell for an astounding $300,000. That's right, $300,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but it's a testament to how valuable a coin can become when it's in the right condition or has a unique feature like a mint error. So, the next time you're digging through your coin collection or sorting through a jar of loose change, be sure to keep an eye out for the 1953 wheat penny. If it's in excellent condition, or if it happens to have a mint error, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. And remember, the value of a coin can sometimes be hidden beneath years of wear and tear, so don't give up hope just because it looks like a well-worn penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another exciting coin discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting!